Guys, welcome to Hell With Us podcast. My name is Tom. That is the illustrious Dave. We've got some fabulous things to talk about tonight.
Yes.
My dick is on fire.
We're going to talk about hospital horror because Tom's been in the hospital so much lately.
Oh my God, I'm so sick. It's fine. To anybody that gives two shits, I had my appendix out, and then I had 2 failed surgeries on a kidney stone, and thankfully last week I had my kidney stone finally removed, but I've been living with a stent inside my ureter for over a fucking month, and it just feels like someone's taking needles and scraping them at the tip of my penis. Constantly.
Some people like that.
I know. But
you don't like
we have special guests tonight.
Yes. Yeah. And we're gonna mention that in a bit because I want us to be a surprise.
I want to talk about the mustache.
We'll get to that. So we're gonna do hospital horror.
Yes, hospital horror. Dan is here. He's our special guest from his podcast show called.
I have 2 shows. Right now, I run a weekly show called The Cozy Corner of Cinema. I talk about film, literature, life, everything good going on. I also have my second show called Peephole Pictures, discussing films from the golden age of porn. Brand new episode just came out in time for Halloween, talking about the Devil and Miss Jones.
You love hot pussy.
Yep. It's available on YouTube and Spotify if anybody is interested. You can find those pretty easily.
I met Georgina Spelman once. She was really nice.
She seems like a really cool girl.
Great. Yeah.
More importantly, do you eat ass?
I don't actually. I had a discussion with this with an acquaintance earlier. I'm adamantly anti-eating ass.
So you don't eat your girlfriend's ass?
No, I don't. I just
what
don't
if
want.
What if she was like ivory fucking clean and she was begging for it?
I think instinctually I know that that's a place where the mouth does not go, so therefore I kind of treat it like a radiation zone, like Chernobyl. I'm like, that's a place I need like a gas mask for.
Wow, you're really not gay at all.
No, man, I got no problem with that. To each their own.
Of course not. You're sitting across from the master of gay.
And Tom, God bless you. I just ain't my crowd, you know? But to each their own.
Dude,
but you don't eat ass either, so why are you...
Not the biggest ass eater. I have done it. I have. But you know what?
What is it like?
It's just not my speciality or whatever. Special, what do you call it? Specialty. I'm so fucked up, Dave. I couldn't even come up with the right word. It's not my specialty. It was all right. Yeah. If we're going to talk about eating ass.
We're not. We're going to get to the movies. We're going to get to the movies. So we're going to start with a 1981 X-Ray, also known as Horror Hospital.
Unbelievable.
So when you said X-Ray, I was like, I don't know that at all. But then I thought of Horror Hospital, and I was like, I remember that over giant-sized box. I think it had a face with like a needle on it. This one has Barbie Benton.
Gorgeous.
Yep.
Dave, I forgot.
We'll get to her.
You don't think she's pretty? Let's talk about it.
We'll get. She's pretty.
Well, instead of getting to it, let's just do it while we're there.
She's pretty. Her boobs are weird.
Yeah, she's got bigger areolas.
The nipples point to the sky. It was weird.
So do mine.
Okay, I wouldn't want to touch them.
I know, but you know, and her nipples are brilliant. She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. The nipples are weird.
Did you notice in that movie that the 3 old ladies, one was a man?
Oh yeah.
It looked like the drag queen from Angel.
Yeah. Yeah, there was those 3 old drag queens.
You know what? Yeah. Very fucking strange movie.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. So, Barbie Benton, everyone knows she was a model.
Gorgeous.
Did some other stuff. She dated Hugh Hefner for a few years.
Of course she did.
Yes.
She's honestly, the minute she came on screen, it all flooded back to me like Celine Dion.
You recognize her, yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is Barbie Benton, top model for the time, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Can't act for shit. But
not so good.
But did an okay job in this movie.
Yeah. Most of the acting in this wasn't very good.
No.
But I like the score a lot. I thought the music was good.
Is it Manfredini?
I didn't look. Okay. I don't think so.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, all the scores are the same back then.
Right, but here's the thing.
It was straight up all those movies.
During that whole watch that I just watched this afternoon, I completely was hearing, literally, no joke, Hell Night, and I was hearing Friday the 13th.
It's possible.
Through the entire film. The music was just carbon copied.
I feel like all those movies back then just stole from each other because it worked and they were like, let's just keep it.
Yeah, the music was great, but it was just reminiscent of all the films I loved.
Did you get a feel when we were watching it? I watched it with a medical doctor just in case there was any sort of issues.
Okay.
And it was very 70s to me and not 80s. It felt like a 70s movie.
It was what was it made in 80?
81.
Okay, well there's your answer. They were still jet lagged. I guess from the 70s.
But we've seen other 81 movies that don't feel like the 70s.
True. This movie was so typical that it was atypical, if that makes any sense.
A little bit.
It was so like the doctor, the female doctor running down the hall, don't kill me, don't kill me. It's just funny.
Yeah. It had great atmosphere.
Yeah.
I thought the hospital was creepy. They made that worked really well.
I think the killer's outfit was classic.
That was fun.
I'm surprised NECA hasn't made a figure.
No one knows this.
True.
No one cares.
True.
Yeah.
But I was fascinated by just the concept of, wow, we're in a hospital and it's better than Halloween 2.
When they kept showing her X-ray,
Yeah.
I was told that a couple times they had the X-rays upside down, so it was not you couldn't have read it like that, like they were looking at the wrong parts of the body.
Right.
And also when they showed her chest, there was nothing wrong. That was a normal X-ray.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's just funny that they didn't do that.
I just find I had seen this film once before when I was in my teens.
Yep.
So
I've never seen it.
Rewatching it today was just like, oh my God. I loved the opening scene as the kids.
Yep.
With the train
that was
set
good.
and him getting killed.
Yep. Which I think we see a lot of 80s movies that did that, where something happened. I mean, very Silent Night, Deadly Night. There's a lot of movies where someone gets either molested or killed or sees someone killed as a kid, and then it comes back to haunt them later.
Yeah, it had a bloody birthday vibe too. Like how do I say this? The 4K transfer wasn't so 4K.
It wasn't 4K.
Mine is. Mine's 4K.
You had a 4K of this?
I have a 4K of X-ray schizoid. Literally.
Really?
Literally. Vinegar Syndrome.
And you made me watch the Blu-ray?
I had no idea that you didn't know
You're
that.
killing me.
Yeah, I watched the 4K, but it came across, like the transfer just seemed very 70s.
Okay.
But it was cleaned up.
Yeah.
It was cleaned up. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it for hours about all the this and that, but I think the Three Old Ladies was brilliant.
Yep.
How they the atmosphere in it was kind of silly though. Like there was a little too much fog and smoke in the hallways for it to actually.
That's what I thought was fun.
It felt like a dream sequence.
It did.
And it wasn't.
No, that whole 9th floor that they weren't supposed to go to was like another world.
Yeah.
It felt very Freddy Krueger when they were in there.
I think the downfall of this movie is it's over.
Her weird boobs.
No. Her boobs are fine. Her titties are on point. No pun. I think the movie ended seriously abruptly. And if you didn't notice, she's okay with her ex-husband at the end of the movie. She comes out of the hospital. She's hugging her daughter and hugging him. I'm like, dude.
Well, they were painting him as that he might have been the killer early on.
I know, but she didn't like him.
All right, I know.
And now she's like all set with him.
Well, I think if you've been through massive trauma,
I guess,
and someone's there to hug
and
you.
I also love that the boyfriend's sitting out in the parking lot for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude.
It was funny.
But it's horror.
Yeah.
And this is what we're supposed to.
Yeah, there was some decent gore in it.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I didn't need all the blood. I loved.
We needed the blood.
No, I agree. But I liked that a lot of it was off screen and all you got was like splatter.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
that's
fun.
you.
It was fun for me. I mean,
I like the gore.
I'm glad I own it. I'm totally glad that I own this movie because I definitely watch it again. It was a quick watch.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't even tell what the story was. I can't believe that. We got so excited about the
Titties.
eating ass in the beginning and the titties that I forgot. So basically, Barbie Benton's character goes to the hospital. She's getting insurance to start a new job. And this killer, who put in a lot of effort, is there and fakes her medical records.
Routine.
So that when they see it, they think she's dying and they want to keep her. So what he does is goes around, kills everyone in the hospital, and keeps doing things. So she's stuck there to try to kill her.
Harry or Harold.
Harold, yeah.
Harold or Harry. Yeah.
It was good.
I
thought the story was interesting. I mean, that would never work, but it was a nice try.
I think there was a lot of genre typical scenes that were done before it was typical. That's what I'm trying to get across. This movie was before a lot of the movies that copied that.
Yeah. Did you see the head in the box?
Brilliant.
Yeah. David Fincher said that that's how he got the idea for Seven.
Really?
No, but that would be great though if he did.
Oh my God, I would have been like, wow. No,
he's probably never seen this.
This
movie.
is a solid 7.
Okay.
Solid.
All right.
7.
I was going to say 6.5.
Well, it's the same.
So we're
thing.
close.
It's
Yeah,
a solid,
we're close.
solid 7. This movie.
If it had a little more gore.
You guys, definitely, you're going to pay for it if you go on stream because there's no free. This movie is either you buy the physical media or you spend $5.99.
Yeah.
There's no way to see this movie on. Well, I don't know, YouTube maybe.
I mean,
You're going to get a
I
shitty.
hate watching stuff on YouTube. It's terrible.
I mean, it just depends how desperate you are.
Yeah.
If you want to go watch it on YouTube for free, you're going to get a shitty copy, but you'll get the gist of it. But definitely check it out. I was pleasantly surprised.
it's fun.
Yeah. I mean,
I would say don't expect a lot for the way it's shot. I mean, it was entertaining. It looked like there was Vaseline in the lens the entire movie. It was a little fuzzy everywhere. And like you said, there was smoke everywhere.
And it was weird. It was like I felt like I was watching the Dream Warriors.
Yeah,
it had like you know how Freddy Part 3 is all smoky and everyone's in the dream sequence. This movie's not a dream movie. It's really actually happening.
Yeah.
But you have 3 old ladies walking down a hall and they're like, ying, 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 and they're all having smoke around them. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Are we really doing this?
Well, you're right though. I wonder if they did the smoke just to make it so they could
atmospheric.
Well, atmospheric, and to hide the cheap ass budget that there's like the hospital wasn't that.
I like her hiding. There's one scene in this movie. She's hiding behind a curtain and she drops her lighter. And I love the POV of him walking by. And I'm waiting for him to turn and look at her, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I like that or not, because I was like, God, I would love that. And I also love him running down the hallway with the sheet.
Yeah.
Remember the part with the sheet? I'm like, that's just so fucking.
It was weird. Yeah.
But in an intense, scary kind of way, weird. Yeah. It wasn't weird, cheesy. I was like, never seen that before.
Yeah. Did you think, because you've been in the hospital so much lately, it was weird that all of the doctors, even though they thought something was wrong and they're trying to keep her there, they felt very mean and aggressive to her.
You know what?
And that whole thing when he was giving her the exam, I felt like he was going to molest her at any
He just
minute.
wanted to play with her titties.
Yeah.
The best thing about the staff are those 2 lesbian sex nurses. The 2 nurses that were always with the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always trying to control her. And
Yeah, they were helping him hold her down and stuff.
They came across reformed schoolgirlish.
I can see that.
Very reformed schoolgirlish, meaning like just aggressive.
It's like the warden's going to tell them what to do and they're going to do it.
They're not gay.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a 5 or a 6 cute.
Yep.
And they happen to be nurses, but you know they're down. They're down for anything. Like they're sinister. And you could tell that they wanted to be on camera as much as possible, like their roles.
I know.
Like they wanted to be like, "Thank you, doctor." It's like, you really needed to say thank you, doctor.
It sounded weird, yeah.
Like I remember there was one point they brought her in, and then the doctor's like, "That'll be it," and they were like, "Thank you, doctor," and it's like, "All right, ladies,
you could have just
you're in the movie.
Yeah,
you're in the movie. We get it." But they were actually
It was fine.
They were entertaining.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
I was transfixed with the 2 slutty nurses and the 3 old people, which, like I said, one of them was a dude.
Yeah, no, it was
weird.
Yeah,
I mean, what's going on?
And they didn't mention that or explain it. It was just a dude.
It's just a dude, and it looked like the dude that dressed up in drag from Angel's den mother.
It did.
Angel's den mother was in X-Ray.
All 3 of the old ladies were kind of funny. So
yeah, and they were just
it was
fucked
weird.
up. Movie's fucked up.
Right.
It gets a 7.
All right, 7 for you.
Everyone that listens to our little tiny bitty show should watch it. And yeah, that's it.
So 7 is all right.
I'm glad we watched it.
I did. Me too.
I'm happy.
All right. So the next movie is from 1982, and it's Visiting Hours. Michael Ironside, Lee Grant, and a couple little spots of William Shatner showing up in it. Everyone loves William Shatner.
Yeah, he's not really purposeful in this.
It's directed by a French guy. Didn't really do much else in the U.S. Shot in Montreal. The story is sort of basic. Lee Grant is a news reporter, and she's doing an article, and she sort of gets people upset by what she's saying. We find out that Michael Ironside is the killer instantly, and that he's a psychopath.
She has the same hair texture as Halloween 2 Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Laurie Strode hair and Visiting Hours hair are identical.
All right. See, that's something you would notice.
No conditioner.
Yeah.
None.
And he comes to try to kill Lee Grant. She ends up at the hospital, and then next thing you know,
she was past her prime, Dave.
Oh yeah. That's because they put the young nurse in who was really cute.
Really cute. I wish I knew her name. I did study her name, but I lost it. But here's the thing: they made Lee Grant the quote. Well,
Linda Pearl is the actress. Dave, she didn't do much else.
Dave, Linda Pearl was beautiful.
She was very.
But here's
very
the
cute.
thing: I think they went into this movie saying, "Oh, Lee Grant's going to be the headline," and then halfway through it, they're like, "We need to get someone else because she's past her prime," and you know.
Yeah. I mean, she'd done Damien too. I mean, you were sort of like,
yeah. You know what? I have to go backwards. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I wanted to say this about X-Ray and I didn't.
What?
Oh my God, you're going to hate me.
That's fine.
Did you not notice the music in X-Ray also sounded like The Omen? It was like
I don't know the Omen music enough.
It was like la 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 la. Like it had that it had that I don't know why I'm going backwards, but I just thought of you.
But you noticed it. So.
I thought of you. I was like, oh, this is Dave music, like Amityville Horror.
That's funny.
It's got that demon, Fear No Evil.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of the Omen series. But yeah, Visiting Hours, the first thing, you're all set with the...
Well, I mean, so then basically the nurse tries to help her. You know, he's coming in to kill them. It's
a cat and mouse.
Yeah, he's going in and out of the hospital, and they're just being chased everywhere. You know, we find out that he's trying to kill a prostitute. She comes in. There's all these things. But in the end,
survives.
All I can say is It's so sleazy, but so well done. I loved it.
Michael Ironside,
Oh, he's so good.
he can fuck me any day.
Ooh.
Any fucking time of the week. If I was to have to get killed, I'd want someone like that to kill me because I'd be like, you're gonna fuck me good, right? You're gonna have sex with me before you kill me.
Probably not.
That's how sexy he was.
No.
Michael Ironside's sexy in this movie. Sexy motherfucker.
All right.
But he's a good killer. He's demented.
And for those who don't know who Michael Ironside is, he was in Scanners. He was in Top Gun.
He's been in a lot of
He was
stuff.
in Total Recall, Starship Troopers.
He's one of those
a million
actors
things.
you're going to recognize.
You'll recognize him instantly.
You'll see him and recognize him.
Yep.
But this is one of his earlier roles, and he's Twisted Tea in it.
Yep.
He's got that leather. Is it like shirt? And he's got like that dad bod shit going on, and he's just like looking real fucking crazy in his apartment, and it's just one apartment you don't want to go into.
No, because it's real creepy.
Yeah, my biggest issue with this movie, which isn't really even a big issue, is that I kept feeling bad for Lee Grant. Like personally, I was like, Lee,
Because she looked old and rough.
yeah. And then when the other girl came in, what was her name again?
Well, the actress is Linda, but I don't remember her name.
Right, but
Do they even say her? They do say her name.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
remember. Yeah.
She's actually the lead in my opinion
Yeah.
because she survives at the end.
Yeah. I thought she was going to be a lesbian when that girl comes out of the shower.
Yeah.
And she's in bed, and I was like, oh, that's the babysitter. But they were very close. It was weird.
Visiting Hours is a straight sleazy fest of a movie, but it's actually got good character build.
It's very scary.
It's very scary, but it's got good character building.
Yeah.
You actually care about these characters too, which
Yeah.
is great in this movie.
You
do.
When you meet the prostitute girl that he tries to kill,
I liked her.
For the little bit that you know her, you really love her.
I liked her. She
Yeah.
was trying really hard to get in
I
there.
really, really like this movie.
She survived.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck is she surviving?
Yeah.
Usually the hookers get killed
I
real
know,
quick.
I know.
I just think this movie.
I thought the flashbacks of why he was traumatized were fun.
Yep.
I mean, you see, that seems to be the case. I sort of like sometimes when we don't know and they're just like, can they just be a psycho? Because it gives them a little sympathy if we find out they were abused or something. All right, so great tension. What else are we going to talk
Great
about?
poster.
I loved the poster's good. It's a great poster because it's got that.
What year was this?
82. So
Yeah.
it's got a picture of the hospital and it's got a skull on it, which we get in the. Do you remember the scene when they find his room?
Yeah.
So in his house, he has pictures of all the people that he's killed, and he likes to take pictures of their face when they're dying.
Yeah.
And you know that when people die, they say the same face. It's the same face you make when you have an orgasm.
Jesus.
So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. So
What the fuck?
So he's got all these pictures of their faces on the
Dave's
wall.
more twisted than you think.
He's got all these pictures of their faces on the wall, and when they pull out a couple of them, when you pan back, it makes a skull on the wall, which was kind of cool, and I like that on the poster. So yeah, that was a great little touch.
I struggle to remember this in the theater because I was so young.
Oh yeah, I never saw it. In the
But I actually remember.
I would have been 10. That's not happening.
I remember seeing it in the VHS stores.
Oh yeah, the box art was always a big. It was yeah.
And I remember it took me a while. I don't know why I get off on this stuff, but it took me a while.
You never saw it back then, did you?
No, it took me.
It
no,
scared
no,
you.
I did. No, I did. But I don't remember it until I watched it, and I actually don't even remember it. But it was a good watch as an adult.
Yeah.
But I just remember seeing it on the shelves, and it kind of just I overlooked it.
Yeah.
I was always a sucker for like the Don't Go in the Woods Alone or the Humongous or the Madman or the
Yeah, you wanted a killer like that.
Just Before Dawn.
You weren't
boxes.
a serial killer guy. You were a creepy hillbilly in the woods.
Yes, I always loved those art boxes.
Yeah.
So when I saw Visiting Hours today, I think it's an amazing poster.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, I'd be like,
Yeah.
what is that? You know?
Did you question why the hospital was so busy? I'm like, why is there so many people at this little county hospital?
It's a metropolitan hospital.
I guess
It has to.
It
be
was
busy.
so busy.
Yeah, it's the busier the hospital, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
I promise you that.
Should we ask the medical opinion on that?
Yes, we should.
Is the busier the hospital, get
Orion.
you better service?
The busier the hospital, the better the service.
Bigger the hospital.
Yes,
the service.
I take it back.
Okay.
The bigger the hospital, the better the service.
So what he's saying,
A small hospital that's really busy is the worst of all.
so what
you
he's
go.
saying is bigger is better.
Bigger is always better. It fucking fits real good after the first 3 minutes. You got to get through those first 3 minutes, and then you're grease. You're good. Those first 3 minutes, though, your poor girlfriends.
Yeah.
You know, you're not. You know, take your time. Slow, easy. Take it easy. You guys just want to go jab, 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 jab.
This Mr. Get to my house, get it over with and leave.
Oh yeah.
So-
Well, that's a gay man's rule.
Yeah.
I got a sandwich to eat. Get the fuck out.
I thought the Lee Grant part of her killing him at the end was really interesting. I was really hoping it was going to be the nurse who killed him.
Yeah.
And then Lee Grant is the one who attacks him and kills him. And it worked pretty well since she started the movie.
Is Lee Grant Omen?
Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
first Omen. She's
Damien.
She's the one that
Part
she,
two.
okay, so who falls off when he does the tricycle in Omen?
That's oh my God, I haven't seen
Yeah.
the first one in a while.
So it's not her.
Dan? You don't
It's
remember?
not her, right? It's not her.
No.
Okay, she's in part 2.
She's in part 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was she was in that. She was also in Shampoo, Mulholland Drive,
Yeah.
David Lynch, In the Heat of the Night. That was another big one.
No, she had Laurie Strode hair.
Yeah.
Did you not see it?
I don't recognize
I don't
hair
know what
like
it is.
that.
And it's like she's in the hospital and she's looking this sounds really ageist and I can't help it, so maybe I won't say it. I'm going to say it. She just was too old for the part. She's too old for the part.
Well, I think she's supposed to be a newscaster.
She's not, she was Dave.
Here's the thing. It's 1982. I bet she's in her early 40s or late 30s.
Okay, but
She just looks old.
the problem. Okay, then you know what it was, Dave? The hot younger actress was just
She was great.
It was not helping her.
No.
It wasn't. And then they started building on her character too
Home,
much.
you see a lot of her.
Dave,
yeah.
almost too much.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, who's the lead here?
To me, it's the young girl.
Okay, I actually
yeah.
thought it was.
Well, it's supposed to be Lee Grant, I think.
It is.
But it feels like it's going to be the young girl.
Yeah, Lee Grant. God, I keep going back to it, but it's just what came first, Halloween 2 or Visiting Hours?
Halloween 2.
Okay, so Visiting Hours was really influenced by it.
Yeah.
I mean, like the vibe, the era, the shawl, the way she's sitting on the bed. She's very Laurie Strode.
I mean, they probably said, this did well. Let's make something similar.
yeah,
But
yeah,
the
absolutely.
director, which is funny, when I mentioned him, he's a Canadian guy. He doesn't do much work. One of the other things he directed was Eddie and the Cruisers 2.
Oh, I love that. Living in a C-I-T-Y. Oh, I loved Beaver Brown Band.
Yeah.
Give me some of that Beaver. You remember the Beaver Brown Band?
Oh, yeah.
John Cafferty and the Beaver. You could see John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band in your backyard. John Cafferty played everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid being like, John Cafferty's playing the.
I think he played the Academy recently.
Yeah, that's actually a big deal.
Yeah.
But he used to play the Vertex.
Yeah.
He played some weird places. Like
Yeah.
they were
He's been around for a long time.
They were the Big E band, but yeah, I love.
He's a hardworking band. They're everywhere.
I loved that song, "The Dark Side" or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
That was great from that first movie.
You know what? That's all Springsteen shit.
Yeah.
That's all influenced by. Well, they're all
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Cafferty.
that Asbury Park sort of sound.
Yeah. Oh my god! Why? How did we get on that?
Because the director did Eddie and the Cruisers too.
Part 2.
Yeah.
I loved Eddie and the Cruisers. Can we review that?
No.
No.
It's not horror.
We could make it horror.
No. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Eddie
I
and the
just know the
Cruisers.
song.
Well, it's kind of like Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and then there's Jaws the Revenge, and you have to see the Revenge. So you have to see Eddie and the Cruisers Part 2. You got to.
I guess. That
It's
sounds like torture.
What is that movie I just bought on Diabolique? Emma Papadopoulos Part 2.
Anthropophagus?
Anthropophagus Part
2000.
2000.
Not part 2. 2000.
It's coming.
It's from the 90s. It's a German movie.
And what do you mean?
I told you the movie is made in Germany. I put that in the text. That's
the-
why I laughed when you were going to
It's
buy
all
it.
subtitles?
Probably. I told you it was German in the text.
Coming to Dave's shelf real soon. Anthropophagus 2000. I won't be keeping
After
that.
we did the podcast, you meant
Dave benefits.
You
from
hated
my
the first one.
Dave benefits from my physical medias. Because as soon as I buy something and I hate it, I'm just like, there you go. You can have it.
Yeah.
It's like Adam wants to borrow my Freddy's 1 through 6.
Yeah, we need to see that soon.
And that's fine. You can borrow them, and you could. No, I didn't bring it. I'm so sorry. Can I get back to my thoughts?
Sure.
But I'm just thinking that
We're shutting Dan off.
no, honestly, I don't. Why don't you guys just wait, and then I'll buy the 4K box, and I can just give you the unopened.
Because we want to watch it now before Halloween.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
You're more than welcome to watch it with us.
I would
but
not. I will not waste my energies on 4, 5, or 6. Actually, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is the best one.
True.
The best one.
But all those are probably better than watching all those
There's
goddamn
one-
Halloween movies.
There's one with Roseanne in it, which was really bad. I don't know. Roseanne Barr's in one of them.
I haven't seen them since they came out in
Freddy's
the theater.
dead. Freddy's dead. Ooh,
The 3D one.
it's terrible.
Wasn't that one 3D too?
I don't know. Yeah.
I think they went back to
No,
3D.
it was 3D in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They told you to put I was at Showcase in West Springfield, and they made you put your glasses on for the last 15 minutes, and then it was Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold.
Coming at you.
Yeah, pretty much. It was weird. It was like Freddy just mutinized into some weird fucking shit. I don't know.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it since the theater. I don't remember that at all.
Visiting Hours is going to get a 7.
Really?
These are sevens. These movies are solid hospital
All right.
horrors. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Will I own it? Probably.
I've watched it a bunch of times. I'm going to say, for me, it's 7.5.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it.
It's good. Why are we agreeing so much?
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a little weird over
I'm
here.
shocked.
Yeah.
It is weird.
I like it, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think this next one, though, we're going to really have a problem. So
Yeah.
it's
So
good that
for the
we're
next
gonna
movie, we're going to bring Dan in.
bang.
Dan, come on over to the mic.
Hey, how you doing?
Dan, what's your podcast again called?
I got two podcasts, Cozy Corner of Cinema and Peephole Pictures, available on YouTube and Spotify.
Okay, so Peephole Pictures.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck is that all about?
Looking at the films from the golden age of porn. So I've talked about many great films so far, like Chuck Vincent's Roommates, Gerard Damiano's Memories with a Miss Aggie, Fred Lincoln's Formal Fawcett. I've done
Anything gay?
You know, there was a couple of Fred Halstead films I do want to watch. That Fred Halstead collection that Altered Innocence put out is a really wonderful collection. It's got LA Plays Itself, Sex Tool. Oh, I'm sorry, gotta get closer.
Yeah.
Sex Tool, Sex Garage, really strong gay pornographic films. Altered Innocence were doing a lot of really cool.
Are these
gay
all
porn releases.
70s?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't do any 80s.
My cutoff is 80, probably 4.
You should do some Jeff Stryker then.
I don't know.
He's
There's
not watching straight. He's not in there for the porn. He's watching the classic 70s.
What the fuck?
The dude's
what's
not gay.
the point? Listen, whatever. Mustache Dan gets it. He fucking gets
Well, thank you for having me on, John. I've been a fan of the show for quite a bit of time. Obviously, I've known you both for quite a bit of time, and it's a pleasure to be here, be the first guest.
Well, I am
and,
blessed to have
thank you.
met. I am blessed to have met you through these two wonderful blokes that I call my friends.
I've known you for probably a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I've
And
known.
I met Dan at the DVD den.
Oh yeah, that's at least over a decade now. That's
A long time.
Oh, yeah.
long time.
It's kind of like how Dave met me at my record store. Well, he didn't
Yeah.
meet me at the record store, but we were.
Yeah.
Dave would come to my record store like all the time.
right. And here we all are in the basement talking about these damn hospital movies.
I
know.
Fucking A.
I know.
Well, we thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
We
Thank you for the
being
invitation.
here.
Yeah.
And, let's talk.
Let's
So-
talk.
So we're going to talk about Halloween 2, 1981.
This is where Adam's going to edit in that terrible Halloween Part 2 music.
Oh, I love it. It's good.
Oh, God bless Adam.
I love the poster
Adam,
for this.
find some good shit.
It's a
that-
pumpkin with a skull on
I know,
it.
but
so it ends right with the end of 1. We actually see some of 1 to start 2.
yeah, it's a continuation.
Yep, and he ends up at the hospital. She's at the hospital. She comes after him.
You just skipped ahead about the best parts, though.
All right, I'll let you. Do you want to fill in any?
The only part I want to not forget is the best part of Part 2 is
The guy getting hit by the car?
no, that's Ben Tramer.
Okay.
That is the
Tramer-
first one.
Ben Tramer gets killed.
Yeah.
So that was devastating because we never got Lori to fuck Ben because Lori liked Ben Tramer. She's smoking the joint saying, I want to go to the prom with Ben Tramer. Ben Tramer gets killed.
That was hysterical.
But in Part 2, I love the POV of Michael walking up the driveway, going in and grabbing the knife and leaving the blood with the sandwich. And she's watching Night of the Living Dead.
Yes. Yeah.
And she turns around and she's like, "Wah!" I mean, Rob Zombie was shooting loads over that scene as a kid. You know what I mean? That scene in Part 2 makes Part 2 worth having a Part 2 like that.
The influence of that scene as well. If you look at even something like Eli Roth's original fake trailer for Thanksgiving, at the beginning of the trailer, when the killer is the POV shot walking into the kitchen, grabbing the knife and then stabbing it, and then it cuts to the credit. I mean, that's very deliberately, not just a POV shot, but so specifically from Halloween 2 that whether or not Roth will admit it, which I think he will.
Of course he would.
I mean, it has to be intentional, more so than
Yeah.
just a direct homage like, they would do later on.
Roth isn't going to sit here and deny any of it because if he did, he'd have losers like us calling him out.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, you have money, we don't. That's the only difference between you and I.
Maybe not now after Borderlands, but yeah, he'll have some money.
Right. But, he made a bankful on Thanksgiving. So,
Was that a big success?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Thanksgiving they're making a Part 2. That was
Yeah, I
successful.
heard about that. Yeah, oh, good for him.
It made its money. I mean,
That 4K Steelbook just got marked down if anyone's looking for it.
Oh, yeah.
I have
Love
it,
that
but I
artwork.
paid $50 for mine.
Oh my God.
Paid $50
it's like,
for that
It's like
Steelbook?
$24 on Amazon.
It's 34.
All right.
And I've already got a call into Amazon. They're giving me my $10 back or whatever it is.
Just so you guys know, Tom is the only person who calls Amazon on the phone
yeah.
and argues about
yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
And if anyone from Amazon's listening to this, he will never get a purchase again because he scammed them so many times.
No, it's not scamming. It's called they will sell me something for $50 and then 2 weeks later it's $34. So I call and I ask for Cindy. Cindy picks up. I'm like, Cindy, it's Tom. She's like, hey, Tom. I'm like, I'm going to need my $15 back on that Thanksgiving or I'm going to return it. And they don't want it back. So she just goes and she gives me my money back. She gives me my money back.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, God bless Amazon.
Yeah.
We love them.
Yeah.
But Halloween 2, guys.
All right, what do we want to talk about?
The synopsis is basically, I also like the POV of him walking to the hospital, which was really silly because you see the signs.
Yep.
And the kid with the boombox.
Yep.
It's the little things in 2 that made the movie great.
The gore's better. There's more violence.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but it's the little nuances. It's the Laurie Strode struggling to say something as she's crawling
When she's trying to
on
scream
the
for
cement.
help. Yeah.
And all of a sudden they walk in and the door closes and she's like, "Help me!" And it's like, really?
All right.
Really? So Laurie Strode survives the night of Halloween.
Yep.
And
He gets taken to the hospital.
she gets taken to the hospital, and then the day after Halloween, or the night, it's the late night into the day after Halloween, she's tormented by Michael Myers, who at this point we don't know is
We also find out the big secret in this one, that they're related.
yes.
That's the big twist.
And
that
I
you
think
find out.
Carpenter hated that. He didn't want that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm
He wrote
pretty
the
sure.
film.
He what?
He
wrote
wrote the
it.
film.
I thought I could have
He
sworn.
just didn't direct it.
I could have sworn he ended up being like, I wish they weren't brother and sister. I think he wanted
Well,
to.
they retroactively kind of changed that in the 2018 Blumhouse prequel, or I'm sorry, remake sequel kind of thing, where they kind of, there's a little line in the middle of that, or at the beginning, where the character says like, "Oh no, it's just a rumor," and everything like that, to kind of retcon that, which in a way to erase part 2 and the sequels and all that. And then actually, interestingly enough, what I want to kind of segue into as well is that I do like Halloween 2, but I think one of the big problems I have with the narrative is a big problem that I have with Halloween 2018 is that there's no real reason, whether or not Michael and Laurie are related or not, there's no... It's very much a plot convenience of Michael going after Laurie. In this case, he happens to find out where she is on the TV. If he didn't see that, what would he do? In Halloween 2018... Well, I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen it.
But you can spoil it. We
Okay,
can.
well,
I loved the first Blumhouse.
oh, that's fair. I mean, it wasn't for me, but it's fine. But a character literally has to bring him to the plot. So it's like if these characters weren't here, then it's sort of like and that's the problem, is that I think that Carpenter and Deborah Hill admittedly didn't really know what to do with the sequel, and for in that regard, I think it still works as a sequel to Halloween, which is very low key, very quiet. But it definitely does show at times where it's like, well, how do we get Michael here? He just is there. He just is there.
My thing about
That's why 3 is the best sequel.
Yeah, everyone.
Agreed.
You have a lot of people on your team about that. I think Halloween 2 is like it's fine, but literally the things that were going on in it were just so stupid. Like they were like the camera was always panning like to the girl, the nurse walking to her car, and she's like, "Well, I don't have time to give you a ride home."
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "But you promised." And then they pan to the kid with the boombox, and then they pan backwards to Michael walking, and it's like there's a lot going on in this shot.
See, I like
and
that
then
they had the good atmosphere. For
I
Halloween
understand.
night.
And then they pan to literally him, like you can see the Haddonfield Hospital sign.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, this is so basic. This is just
I think
I like-
yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was just say I love when the nurse licks his finger when she thinks it's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
That was so disgusting. Because
that's a good scene.
Fucking fingernails are all black
there-
and dirty.
But there's another iconic scene when he jabs the nurse and lifts her up.
Yeah, it was good.
It's iconic.
Yeah, the violence in this is really well done.
It's definitely influenced by Friday the 13th at this point, because now I don't remember what year Friday the 13th Part 2 was, but
82, I think.
okay, so I'm
Yeah,
thinking about
it was
the
right
It's
after.
almost the same time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the one kill with the needle in the head where
Yep.
I mean
Yeah.
I mean they're probably filming at the same time.
And the
I don't know
hammer
where.
and the skull, the claw hammer in the head is also
Oh,
in
for
a
the
lot of- in a
security
lot of
guard.
stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
Security guard, yeah.
I mean, Carpenter, besides maybe like The Thing, I never really associated him with very grisly kind of violence. So the fact
Right.
that, I know he didn't direct it, I'm just saying for the
Yeah, if you
context.
watch The Fog,
But-
it's mild.
Yeah, but I'm just saying so that this one definitely feels more influenced by the slasher films
Yeah.
that were influenced by Halloween, and it definitely shows. Not in a way where it's gratuitous or it takes you out of the film, where it's just like, oh, now we're gonna have him ripping people apart, but it definitely is noticeable where the violence in the first one is.
Yeah, for
more
me,
subdued.
a lot of I always like hated the thing about Halloween 2 that always annoyed me. This is so like trite and superficial, but when Michael's walking up to the door of the hospital and he just walks through it and breaks it, you can just see how flimsy of a fake door it is. I hated things like that.
Right.
I was like, we didn't.
Let me
Well,
ask
what-
you. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, going to what you sort of said earlier about things happening for no reason, like, why couldn't he have done that every other time he was trying to get into
I
someone's
know.
house.
He walked through that door like it was nothing.
The hospital door.
And the hospital, but the problem is the prop was terrible. If you really watch that scene, when he walks into it, you can just tell that that's like the flimsiest fucking like prop.
Right.
Like spend a little money.
Let me ask you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. Let me ask you guys. I'm very curious what you guys' take on this. Is that so? At the end of the first film, obviously, it ends with that great kind of stinger of an ending, where it's like what happens to him. This one definitely kind of heightens the more than human, like I mean, evil embodied, and more so than just an evil person. But
Yeah.
like so, because I mean, for mirrored reasons. How do you guys feel about that transition from Michael being more than human? Do you prefer him being more subdued like in the first one, besides the very end, or do you prefer him to be a bit more
Terminator?
slasher? Yeah, it's Terminator.
He is better in part 1 than he is in part 2.
Okay, what do you think, Dave?
I would agree, because that's, I mean, when you say that he's just pure evil and then he can do anything and it becomes sort of like a Jason supernatural thing, that can answer every time there's a plot device that you can't get around, you can answer it by being like, well, he can just do whatever.
Well, that was my thing, is that because I have mixed feelings on that, and in terms of the context of just Halloween 2 itself, it was inconsistent, because you'd have times where I don't want to go on, I don't know if we're doing spoilers or not.
No, we do.
Oh, we
spoilers
don't
all the
care.
time.
Fucking spoil it.
I mean, you know, whatever. People who haven't seen it, go check it out. But it was inconsistent in the way where you would have him, you know, he can't get through a door, but he's set on fire and can still walk around, and he can, you know, smash through things, but he gets shot in the eye, and suddenly he's immobile. I mean, and he got shot what 5 or 6 times,
And
then
he gets up and walks away.
I shot him
that's
6 times.
It's inconsistent in a way that it
I
doesn't
shot
bother me,
him
but it's there.
6
Yeah.
times.
I think that's a problem that I have, is that I have no problem with the character being like that.
That's a good bit. It's a good bit.
But when you don't follow your own rules, it's sort of like anything can go. Where it's sort of like the stakes or whatever.
Here's to run you over.
No, yeah, do your thing.
Because that's what I do.
Oh,
unfortunately,
I'm here.
Dave's fully aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween. Okay, for Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all these movies, these original greats that people talk about. The part 2s never really. You can't do what you did in the original. So in part
Texas
2,
Chainsaw holds up to.
No. That's fine. I don't want to argue. I really don't. I'm in no mood for
I like
that.
2 and 3.
Okay, my point is, you're never you have to go somewhere, and whatever people choose is for them. You know, they choose
Right.
to make him like Terminator-ish. That was the thought, obviously. That was the thought of the part 2. We're going to make him superhuman. I wouldn't have done that. I would have kept it low-key the way it was. I loved Halloween the way it was. I'll tell you right now, I saw this thing on YouTube. Someone's like, Halloween without the music is just not Halloween. And so I watched like 30 minutes of Halloween with no music. It's just not scary. It's just not.
I don't think it's a
scary.
symptom of just Halloween, though. I think that's a lot of films.
No, but the music in Halloween is what
I would agree.
The Halloween music is what makes the Halloween movie scary.
Right.
Like when he's driving and he's following the little kid with the pumpkin, they showed it with the music and it's terrifying. And then they just show it and I'm like, oh my God, this is like perp.
I
This is
think
just
it depends
perp
on the
shit.
context of the film.
Right.
If you're watching like, let's say the scene, I don't know, just a random film. Let's say like in The Last House on the Left, after they brutalize Marie and they play that beautiful like now you're all
Yeah,
alone. What if they
I love
played like
that.
some like
Shut up over
traditional
there.
score?
Why are you doing that? I love that.
Oh, I'm just saying actually because I just
And
read
the
it.
road leads to nowhere.
And that's a film that when you have David
Remember
Hess's
that
great,
shit?
Oh, of course, man.
I'm telling you.
that's one of the best soundtracks.
That's the soundtrack.
But
I
like,
love that
say,
song.
When you take Hess's soundtrack out of the film, like say you have a traditional score, which sorry, I'll stop rambling in a second.
No, it's
Even going back to Carpenter, I've often heard the criticism of his films using an inappropriate score. For example, like Skip to New York. But I think that because those scores work for those scenes, that you're saying that okay, in Halloween you take out the music, that's one thing, and I get that, but I think that's just a product of how audio can complement the video.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying. I just think like John Carpenter specifically, like he's a brilliant musician or composer or whatever you want to call him. That's half of his bag.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The music just makes those movies like The Fog. The Fog
Oh, of
without
course.
The Fog without music
Love The
is not.
Fog.
I do too, Dave. But The Fog without music is not The Fog. It's just not.
But that would be a lot of horror, though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I know, and it's like what Dan said about Last House on the Left. Like when Marie gets killed, like that music starts, and
The fact that it like fades in.
the empathetic sounds of that music. It's like, wow, she's done.
Yeah, but it's also
She's done.
even a piece of music like that. I know won't sidetrack too much into that, but even a piece of music like that, where the lyrics, the composition really get into the headspace of those villains of just who are now realizing like, wow, what have we done? More so than just a traditional score that's like.
Have we reviewed Last House on the Left?
No, we haven't done that yet.
I love that movie.
I just recently read. Speaking of Legends from earlier, off mic, I recently bought from '92. I think it was like right after Scream came out, the making of the Last House on the Left book. So I had a lot of interviews with, and it's a wonderful book. Great insight.
Legends
into a lot
has
of
that
the,
book. I sold it to him.
Oh, that was your book.
Oh, you bought that?
I bought that.
Boom!
Yeah.
That's my book.
Yeah.
Did you buy the clock? He had a Last House on the Left clock. That was mine.
I didn't see a clock. I would have
the
bought
clock
that too.
is brilliant.
I would have bought that too.
You should go back and buy that clock at Legends. And when you go there, you tell them Tom sent you, and there's a 10% discount.
I think I actually
Chris, Charlie.
Chris, if you're listening to this fucking episode, Legends over in Granby,
He'll
Mass,
listen.
go get your shit at Legends at Granby, Mass. Dan, the cameraman's coming back over and sell him that damn clock and give him a deal, because that clock came from my basement. And that book came from my basement.
Oh,
That's so
geez
great.
Louise. I've bought a lot of stuff off you guys then,
Oh
apparently.
my god! Yeah, I sold a lot of my collectibles.
That book
over
is
there.
wonderful. It's such a great insight
That
into
book's
That's
that-
the David Sulskin book.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the
that
one.
book sat in my basement 15 years.
No, it was wonderful. I read it in like a couple weeks or so. It was what a
I
great
loved
insight.
it when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, sorry, back to Halloween
No,
two.
that's cool. This movie. It's got a lot of legendariness behind it. I'm glad they did it. Honestly, whenever I see it on TV, I run because I don't need to be bored. It's just there's nothing much going on. It's just a lot of chasing around.
Isn't that every slasher movie?
No, I know, but you expect more from Laurie Strode. I do.
Really?
I expected
All she did
more.
was get attacked in
I
the
ex-
last 30 minutes of the
Did
first
we talk
movie.
about the hair?
No,
Did we
you
The
talk-
wig. Yeah, she's wearing a wig in this one. It
Yeah.
looks wild.
Yeah, it's.
It looks big.
Here's the thing.
Did she cut it short for trading places? Why is it
I
short?
don't know, Dave, but if you go to Halloween, at the end of Halloween, she's got this soft, like brown, girly hair thing going on, real cute, real soft. And then we open up in part 2, and it's
big.
like she's got this fucking raspberry, gingery fucking hair. And it's like, honey, we need to put some conditioner in, leave it in. They should have left that shit in, but no, it was a wig. It was a wig.
Oh, yeah,
It's
no, for
fucking
sure.
bad. It's
Right.
bad. Jamie Lee would even say
noticeable.
it. It's noticeable.
Yeah.
They just changed. It's like when they changed the Halloween masks.
Yeah, by the time 4 came around, 4 and 5, it just looks.
It looks so stupid.
awkward. Yeah.
But even in part 2, you can tell that they've altered it.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is that everything else, because you have a lot of the same crew, you have Dean Cundy returning as cinematographer, of course, Deborah Hill, John Carpenter, everything like that. So you have a lot of the same crew working on it. That's why it has that same feel, but that mask, it's not as egregious as 4 or 5, but it is noticeable. At least
Yeah.
if you, like, say you're doing a fan edit, which I guarantee somebody probably has, where you splice the ending, you cut the ending from the first one into the second film and watched it as one 3-hour film, you're going to be like, okay, everything else is fine besides the wig and the mask. You know, It's
Yeah,
noticeable.
but you know what? Honestly, the wig is a big deal for me in a movie. That was just unforgivable. It's there. It's legendary.
But
But you cannot go from the closet scene with her, with the way the hair is. It's so.
So here's a question:
It's her hair.
Do we think now that's because of us and video and DVD now? But if you'd seen that in the theater, the chance that you would have seen Halloween recently before you saw Halloween 2, you would never remember that.
Agreed. I think because
I disagree.
There's no way.
I disagree. I'm sorry, but I look at part 2 of Halloween and go, what is going on with the hair?
Right, but you've seen it on video now, and you've seen the other one. You could watch them almost back to back. If you had seen Halloween when it came out in '78,
Yeah.
and 3 years later you went and saw this in the theater, there's no way you would have been like, her hair's different.
unless you're able to like get a print of it or something. Where
Yeah.
in that case, where you're going to the cinema,
I
you
just think
haven't.
that's hard.
You know, there's less films out.
no, I
so-
mean that it's debatable.
I think it's special for us
debatable.
now because we can nitpick this shit by watching
Right,
it all
right.
the
No,
time.
that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Right.
This is definitely a 5.5. This is definitely nothing past a 5.5.
Really?
Yeah, it's just you know what? Next to Halloween, it was okay.
Do you give any of the other sequels a higher rating?
I love Danielle Harris. So anything with Danielle Harris was always a 7. Danielle Harris in 4 and 5 is just fucking flawless.
And 6.
And she's so hot.
Oh wait, no, she wasn't in 6.
No. I thought you said sexy. No, she's not in 6.
I love her in
They
the
were-
zombie movie.
Yeah, she wanted more money, I think, for that one.
Yeah, well,
replaced the
well,
character.
it doesn't. She was in Zombies. She was cute in Zombies too.
yeah.
But Danielle Harris is literally the she's the unspoken queen of horror because if you IMDb her, she has got the longest list of credits that's ever been. But everything goes back to 4 and 5 of Halloween. We could
Wasn't
sit,
she like 12 in those?
yeah. We could sit and fight and tell you this and that, but the opening credits in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, phenomenal.
That whole opening credits.
That whole opening credit scene in part 4, it makes you feel like you're in fall. It's like Idaho.
Yep.
It's
The dead leaves flying by in the air, the pumpkins in the porch. It's perfect.
The director got away from the do pumpkin shit, and he just gave us fall in the Midwest. And it worked.
And
I'm
that's
going
the
to have
thing.
to watch this.
Part 4 worked.
I completely agree with you on that because I feel like now it's sort of like we know with the Blumhouse ones, and I'm not going to rag them or anything like that, but I think they were so reliant on those the first couple of films by emulating a lot of it. Even more so, you have Laurie, still in the hospital. You have the POV shot from Halloween 2, and that's fine. But then Halloween 4, which is a film I'm admittedly not a big fan of. I actually really don't like the film. Yeah. But that opening, because it's so uniquely different, they didn't just do the pumpkin opening again.
Nope.
And besides Halloween 3, which is its own thing, but Halloween 4, it's like they could have done that. But that opening, my gosh, man. Rest of the film is whatever, but that opening is
cinematography genius.
It's gorgeous. You can
feel
the weather.
It wasn't purposely done. He just did it because that's what he wanted to do as a director, and he was called out for it positively years later because
Who directed 4?
We don't even know, but it was. I'm telling you, it was the opening in 4 is just so good.
All right.
Everybody should just watch
I'm
part
going to
4.
watch it soon. I haven't seen it since it came out.
Part 4, and then of course you get to part 5, part 6. And then there's the unforgivable resurrection with Busta Rhymes and all that shit. And I'm a Halloween fan, but God, they just ruined the franchise. I do like 2018's Blumhouse, the original 18, because I was happy to see Laurie back with a gun and just looking rough. But by the time Halloween Kills came and ends, I was like, you guys ruined this franchise.
So let me ask you this question, both you guys. So now that the Blumhouse trilogy is done with, what do you guys want to see with the Halloween franchise going from here on out? Do you want like a TV series or like a whole new thing?
I want another movie, but I want it to be just, I want them to get away from the Laurie Strode stuff, and I want them to go back to like the 4 and 5 stuff.
Okay.
Like not 4 and 5, the movie, but like just change it.
Oh, just do like a whole like
aftermath,
okay.
Halloween aftermath. Michael's in a new town, or he's just wreaking havoc somewhere else.
So not following the continuity of it, just having his own thing. What about you, Dave? What do you think?
So as we were saying about 4, I have not watched any of those since they came out.
Okay.
I don't really care. I don't really care about any of those movies.
Nor do I.
To me, 1 and 3 are my favorites, and then I really like the 2 Rob Zombie ones. Only because I love the music and I like how brutal they are. I have problems with the ghost.
We're not going to get into Rob Zombie, but
I'm just saying. For me, those other ones, when I saw them when they came out in the theater when I was younger, I went and saw it and I was like, I really just do not care about Michael Myers.
I think Halloween 4, when it came out in the theater, it was a huge success, by the way, but everybody was ready because 3 was such a bomb.
Yep.
It was such a failure commercially that people were like, Michael's back. So that was why 4 was
4 did well, then they rushed out 5.
Right, because they had to.
Yeah.
They had to. They were like, we have to get him back.
Right.
But like, I mean, honestly, like if we're going to talk about Rob Zombie, I love Rob Zombie. I think his movies like Lord of Salem is amazing. But I think Halloween 2 was really annoying because he didn't know what to do with his wife. So he made her a ghost with a horse.
Well, I don't think
that was annoying.
I don't think
she didn't need to be in that movie.
I don't think he wanted to make part 2.
No, he didn't.
I think Weinstein was like, here's a shitload of money. You need to make part 2.
Absolutely. But what bothers me about Rob Zombie is that he should have said, hey, honey, you're going to have to sit this one out. There's nothing for you in this because you were killed in part 1. But no, instead he puts her as a ghost with a white horse, which is fine, but it made no sense.
Right.
It just made no sense.
And it was going to do Halloween 3D.
Right. And then,
That never got made.
Yeah. But the thing is, Rob Zombie is so good when he's good, but when he's off, he's off. And he knows it. He knows it. Halloween 1, the remake was amazing. Oh my God! No, it was amazing.
I can't get behind that.
No, that's fine.
To each their own.
No, I get it. And I don't want you to get behind it. This is why you're here. You're here to have your own opinion.
Now, do you just like it as a movie or because it's a Halloween movie?
Well, I'm not really tied to the franchise either way, so it just so happens that me not being a big fan of the sequels, it doesn't really have anything to do with that. I'm Rob Zombie. To me, him and Eli Roth kind of have the same problems for me. I think their hearts are both in the right place, and they truly are fans making movies they want to make. Yeah. And Rob Zombie made Devil's Rejects, which I think is great. Eli Roth made Hostel, which I think is great. But I think both of them fall into their own pitfalls where, like, you guys talked about the Green Inferno last week, and with Eli Roth to that and Rob Zombie to Halloween, I think they're both almost too tied to this property that they blind themselves. I mean, Green Inferno I have my own problems with. Halloween, to me, it's too obnoxious, it's too loud, it's too in your face.
It's too Rob
That's
Zombie.
what I love.
It's
Well, Dave's
I
a
like
Rob
I
Zombie
like
fan.
subtlety, and which is fine. I mean, again, his heart's in the right place. I don't disparage anybody who likes it. It's just not for me. It really isn't for me. But clearly, it has its fans, so that's great.
It was the highest grossing movie released in September for a while.
I thought it was an August film.
So what did I give it? I gave it a 5.5.
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where I'm at.
I would say 6.5 for me because I thought the violence stepped it up and there were some fun shots in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dan?
Let's
give it a number.
Yeah, like 7. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
All right. Dan,
give us a plug one more time on your shows.
I got 2 shows you can find on YouTube and Spotify. First show, Cozy Corner of Cinema, new episode every week talking about film, literature, life, the theater, the arts, all that good stuff. Second show is Peephole Pictures, discussing the films from the golden age of porn. I got a new episode coming out soon, another Gerard Damiano film probably out next week. But in the meantime, there's 12 episodes up, so plenty to discuss. And listen to there. It's on YouTube and Spotify.
Go listen to Dan on all of his podcast stuff.
And Dan, we thank you for coming and sitting with us.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And having to
It's
put
pleasure.
up with Tom and his
Gay kisses.
gay kisses.
Gay kisses in the USA.
My girlfriend sends her regards. She loves
Love
you
your
guys. She loves the
girlfriend.
show. And
Yeah. What about your other little boyfriend there? The one that I was flirting with at the theater.
can't talk about that.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure him out later.
But thank you guys for listening this week. We're actually going to do other special guests in later on this season too. Have some people call in.
Dan,
have some
please
people
come
do
back.
this.
Never
Yeah,
would
we'll
have
get
me.
Dan.
Get Dan, come
And we'll
back.
definitely do it. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. So thank you guys for listening. Check out the Facebook page. Keep commenting. We've had some really good interaction with you guys recently on some of the posts. So thank you, telling us what your favorite intro was and all that stuff. There's been some great stuff. Oh boy. Tom, you're going to go home in a minute, so you can just take care of that.
I get to hear the ASMR in person. This is
Yeah,
very
it's
sexual.
terrible. It's terrible.
We love everybody. We thank everybody. Thank you, Orion, for having us over.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have Tyler over here. Let's thank Tyler real quick.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Rocky Horror Claps.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Claps to Tyler.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Guys, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I know the movie, but I don't know what you took the claps.
When they're...
I haven't seen it 70
It's
times.
like when Frankenfurter's like creating Rocky.
Yeah.
All the little minions in the house are like,
Okay.
it's the Rocky Horror Clap.
Yeah, sure.
You guys are fucking straight. Fucking straight people. Oh. Is there a thing to be phobic against straight people? Because I think I got it.
Yeah.
Fucking straight.
Crazy. All right.
Heteros, heteros.
Thank you guys. Have
Love
a great
you.
night. Take care.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.